quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
I open a dented pocket watch between my fingers, a tiny hinge sighs. The winding key clicks once, twice, then settles. The metal tastes of 100 hands. In Khmer, the watchmaker smiles and says, "This one remembers the river." Close stones, loud stories. This is Ancient Echoes. I'm Sam Nong Bradley, and today we follow the people who keep Cambodia on time. A market bench watchmaker, a temple tower winder, and a young salvage technician who breathes new life into old movements.
By the end of this episode, you'll be beside a workbench, on a rooftop at dawn, and in a small workshop turning a rusted gear and listening for the heartbeat of a town. I promise sound-forward storytelling, respectful detail, and, yes, a few small jokes about watches that run faster than we do.
First, a quick context corner to frame why these people matter. Time in Cambodia has always been lived as much as measured. There are ritual calls that shape religious life, civic bells that signal markets or schools, and private time kept by wristwatches and phones. These systems coexist. Some signals belong to a temple, some to a town, and some to the rhythm of a family business. We will make a clear distinction between sacred chimes and civic bells as we go, and we will not share step-by-step repair methods or exact addresses. Technical questions will be directed to vetted makers and horology programs listed in our show notes.
Let's sit at the first bench. Imagine a narrow lane next to the market, spices drying on tarps, chickens moving like punctuation in the distance. The watchmaker's bench is a little island, a stained wooden board, mist-matched screwdrivers, a velvet cloth pinned down with a coin. He lifts a case and immediately, by ear alone, names what ails a watch.
He tells me, with a grin, that a watch is like a person. You listen to its breathing, and you know whether it will get better. He listens to the ticking, tilts the case against his ear, and then he works. Not a step-by-step lesson. I'll be careful about that. But I can say this. His hands move with a memory. An apprenticeship of long afternoons taught him to hear a worn tooth or a tired spring. He learned from a mentor who learned from another mentor. An oral craft where sound and touch matter more than schematics.
What this reveals is the social life of repair. The bench is a public place where time is negotiated. Farmers drop off a pocket watch with a nod. A tuk-tuk driver leaves a chronograph and returns with coffee. Payment can be coins, a plate of rice, or the promise to bring news. Apprenticeship here is relational. Learning includes listening to the bits, yes, but also to the stories of the people who own the watches.
He demonstrates a little diagnostic trick he learned as a boy. Hold a watch at arm's length and listen to how the tick changes with a slight tilt. I can't teach you to fix a watch over the air. We withhold procedural instructions, but I can describe the poetry of that action. An old man, cheeks hollowed by weather, listening like a musician hearing a familiar song, smiling when the rhythm returns.
There is humor here, too. He jokes that young people trust their phones too much, phones that never learned how to be patient with a belt buckle or a dusty market pocket. He chuckles, a small sound that turns the bench into a theater. And then he gets back to work, because a watch will always prefer to have its teeth aligned over being lectured about progress.
From the bench, we climb, metaphorically, to the rooftop and the tower. The tower winder is a different kind of keeper, not repairing tiny springs, but managing a communal signal. He explains which chimes call the rice sellers to the market and which tones signal a devotional pause at noon. Those distinctions are important. A bell at a temple may be used for both ritual and civic life, and custodians negotiate those uses with care.
I stand beside the steward as he lifts the winding key. The rooftop smells of old wood and sun-warmed moss. He winds in a slow arc. This is part ritual, part maintenance. And as he works, he tells me about watching the town wake. Children running, a vendor setting out fish, a monk pausing to listen. The chime, he says softly, is a conversation between the temple and the street.
The layers matter. Some communities have formal agreements about when a bell can be used for announcements. Others treat certain rings as strictly devotional. We verified meanings with several custodians before publishing, and we include those notes in the show materials. We asked permission before recording the tower sounds, and we credit the custodians in the show notes.
Up close, the tower's mechanism is less grand than you'd imagine. It's gears and patience, a pulley here, a lubricated axle there. The steward listens as he winds, and he can tell if a climb is due or if a gear needs a softer touch. He doesn't want too many visitors on the rooftop during morning winding. It's careful work. He invites conversation at the market afterwards, always by appointment and always respectful. Now breathe with me. Imagine a layer of sound, a slow pendulum tick, a distant chime answering a rooftop, a vendor calling, a bicycle bell knifing through the market hum. Hold that. Let it settle. This is where time feels communal, not solitary.
The montage we describe here was recorded with release and consent. When you listen in the produced episode, you'll hear those layers arranged so you can inhabit the place. We keep distinctive chimes credited and cleared, and when recordings are unique or owned by a community, we respect licensing and custodial wishes.
Our final field portrait is of a young salvage technician. She hunts at flea markets and old municipal stores for broken colonial movements, cast-off tower parts, faded dials, a pendulum that still remembers its swing. She cleans rust with vinegar and conversation, adapts an old motor to turn a school bell, and in doing so, she stitches modern life to older machines. She laughs when she tells me how she learned. I learned to ask questions, she says, and to take apart things slowly so they will forgive me. She is careful about providence and always asks permissions when she repurposes a civic piece. Her work revives instruments for community halls that cannot afford new motors. It is conservation with improvisation, and it keeps bells honest for schools and festivals.
We should reiterate, no detailed repair instructions are given on this episode, and we do not publish workshop addresses or specific winding schedules. If you want to learn more safely and ethically, consult the vetted contacts in our show notes, accredited horologists, community custodians who requested mediated contact, and apprenticeship programs that teach under appropriate supervision.
If you visit a bench or a workshop, ask before photographing. Listen before touching. Offer fair payment or a small gift, and accept that some custodians prefer privacy. Do not ask for step-by-step repair tuition on the spot. Many techniques are fragile, and some custodians protect their knowledge to preserve livelihoods and safety. Above all, bring curiosity, patience, and a sense of shared stewardship.
On a quieter note, there's something about watching someone repair time that feels like witnessing a community's tenderness. A watchmender's care keeps markets punctual. A tower winder's ritual keeps prayer and commerce in conversation. And a salvage technician's ingenuity keeps community bells ringing when budgets are tight. Time here is not only measured, it is kept by hands and by relationships.
Before we close, practical tips condensed. 1. Always ask permission before recording or photographing a keeper at work. 2. Never request procedural repair steps in public. Direct technical questions to accredited programs we list. 3. Support makers fairly. Wages and tips matter. 4. If you hear a chime and wonder about its meaning, ask a local custodian rather than assume sacredness or civic use.
Credits and thanks to the bench watchmaker who taught me to listen, to the tower steward who invited me up at dawn, and to the young technician who showed how old gears can keep new promises. Your names and contact preferences are respected and credited in our show notes. Big thanks to listeners who keep these stories alive by listening closely and sharing carefully.
If this episode moved you, please subscribe to Ancient Echoes. It helps us reach more communities and support ethical fieldwork. Visit the episode notes for vetted contacts, show transcripts, and credits for the sounds you heard. Quiet stones, loud stories. Walk the temples with me next time. There are always more hands and more rhythms waiting to be heard.
Oh, shining diamond, flawless and rare, you stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not to rush you, feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, still body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell, obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will, your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.